Good afternoon to International Racing League Season 15 F1 Division Round number 3 at Qatar. I am commentator IRL Neon, or as Jared Fosbury, here for today for the first round and the first season ever at Qatar on an F1 game. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the IRL drivers can do. Do apologise that the stream is a bit later than usual. We had a few issues with stream and then an issue with the normal host. Couldn't get the connected to the lobby and he won't be racing today, unfortunately, for that. But we'll talk over about some standings and all that sort of stuff as we are waiting for a couple more drivers to join, as we should have a 20-car grid. As right now we have 18, which is awesome to see. I'm just going to quickly send a link to the league director quickly. Just give me 1 second. There we go. So back to the standings then. So right now, Millen is still leading the Drivers' Championship after he won round number 1 at Austria. He got 4th place in China. However, though, he's got a very hungry challenger, Lewis Curtis, right behind him. And then the defending champion, Cameron Young, in 3rd. As I'll be stay cool. I'm all cool there, Alfie. Thank you very much. But Cameron, then, the defending champion, in 3rd. Has had an alright start, got 5th in Austria, didn't agree with the penalty he got from the game, and got a 2nd place in China, which he's going to try and convert today to get his first victory of the season and try and hunt for the championship lead, and hopefully to the end of this season win his 2nd championship, and hopefully be the first back-to-back champion this season in IRL. For the constructors side, we have Williams, Haas and Altori also fighting it out for the top spot. Currently, we have Williams with Curtis and Edward with 44 points to their name. They had a good scoring in China. Then you have Haas in 2nd with 43, so only 1 point between them two. And AlphaTauri just lacking a bit behind with 30 points to their name. Hopefully they can start scoring a bit more points, a bit more higher points than what they're getting to try and challenge. And good evening, Paco. It's good to see you in the chat. As we're about to go live then for the qualifying session then. As see who will take pole. But my qualifying prediction is normal. As someone's calling him a Spanish fraud there in the chat. Top 4 then. My top 4 prediction for quali. I'm going to go with Millam. He's looking very strong at this track. He's done a lot of practice, a lot of sweating around here. So maybe he will take pole. I'm going to go with Cameron in 2nd, Bran in 3rd. And I'm going to go with Lee Kelly in 4th. I think the Haas pairing have got a strong pace and strong qualifying pace as well. So let's see what those guys can do. Lee's already getting the mediums already. We already have 2 cars leaving the pit lane as well. That is Cameron and Millam, I believe. Paco's asking, can Sandra lend him some money? Oh, Paco, man, I thought you had a job, man. But back to the racing side then, as I do apologise that there's that thing in the background. I don't understand what that was. Well then, Cameron then will be the first one on an out lap and the first one to take to the track. See if he can take pole at Qatar. As he's been a bit frustrated as his practice session, he was not getting rid of the lap together. He has the pace, obviously, but he just couldn't get the lap together. He's hoping it can change in this quali session, because obviously there's no restarts if you muck up. So then, as a lot more drivers are coming out of the pits, 18 cars today. Unfortunately, 2 drivers can't make it today, which is a shame. Hopefully, some can turn up later in the quali session. We're expecting Curtis, I believe, later on. As he said at first, he couldn't make it, but then he's changed his availability status. But we might not see him. And if that happens, Millam could extend his championship point lead, which he's aiming to do this season. As Cameron then is getting ready as he runs a bit wide there. As he's about to start his first flying lap then around Qatar. Through the final corner he goes. ERS is active and he's going down the home straight then. We'll go on board then, approaching speed of 197 miles an hour then. Into the brickings when he goes. Down to 4th gear through this long right-hander. Gets a decent exit, but he invalidates, unfortunately. Goes a bit too wide then. This is what he's been struggling all of his practice sessions on. He's keeping the car within the track limits, but Millen, who's been looking confident around here with strong pace as well, is who we're going to go on board with next then in the Haas. Currently leading the Drivers' Championship at the moment. That's curved there a bit too much, probably for his liking. Into the hairpin corner he goes, first hairpin on the left. Got to get a good exit. Not a bad exit there from the Haas driver now. Going to end in sector 2. Into the right hand, to the quick left-hander, into the right, another hander then. Foot to the floor. Oh, he loses the rear end there into the hairpin corner. Probably scared the daylights out of him, but it is going to be a banker lap. Obviously, he can improve it later on. But he can't make these kind of mistakes, especially when he goes for that final flying lap. However, though, Millen, currently purple in the second sector, obviously since he's the only one on an actual lap ahead of everybody else. But will it be provisional pole after everybody's done their laps? Keeps it within track limits. Into the final corner he goes then. Let's see what the Haas can do. He's got barely any battery left. Is he going to run out coming across the line? It's going to be close. He's out of battery now. And the time is going to be a 1:21.266 there. So that is provisional pole. What about his teammate Lee Kelly? Lee Kelly looked very strong on the pace. He goes second there with a 22.3 there. Only a second off. And he's on the medium compounder tyre. So only a second. So he's got a lot of time there to find on the soft compound when he goes in it. So just how Glegg goes second there. With a 22.175. Alfie instantly beats that with a 21.6. Then we've got the Williams coming up then of Bizia, I believe. He's just starting a lap. What about Ushin? Ushin hasn't gone out yet. What about Tony? He is on a lap, I believe. He's currently in the first sector, ending the first sector actually, at the moment, past the double right-hander. Into the first hairpin left at 26.7 first sector. Purple apparently in sector 1. So let's see if Tony can actually finally set a first banker lap, as he did struggle with this with Ossian. Oh, struggling with the grip there on the back end of that Aston there, it looked like. Rear end was very snappy. Through the quick right hand and now into the other hairpin left, which is, wow, what a lap there from Karen Armstrong, a 1:21.185. I wasn't expecting this kind of pace from him. Already ahead of Millen. That's Tony then through the second sector, 54.1. Now this is the flat section, foot to the floor, going down the gears a little bit. Back up to 7th, into the left-hander, goes down into 6th gear there, gets a decent exit, keeps within track limits, but peels into the pit lane, so he wasn't happy with that lap in the end. We're going to go on board with Lordy then, so he's now on his final run through the final corner on this lap. DRS is going to be active then, let's see what he can do. Comes to the line, and the time's going to be a 1 minute... 22.423 there. A tenth slower than Lee, who's on the mediums, but only a couple of tenths slower than Sondra, who's in 5th. And to be fair for Sondra, that's actually the closest he's been to his teammate as well. And he almost runs into the back of him there, entering the pits. And, well, Sondra's looking like he's got some pace potentially. Cameron's back on an out lap. What about Bran? Is he on a finishing lap? He is on a finishing lap. He's almost out of fuel as well in the Alfa Romeo. Through the final corner he goes. He's still trying to get his championship started, as he's did his first round last week, as he missed the actual first round, which was Austria. But here comes to the line then is Bran, and it's going to be a 1:33.3. So I'm guessing he made a massive mistake somewhere. As the other Ferrari big boy June right now has got a bit of traffic with Ollie just ahead of him, gets past him quite easily. Purple in the first sector, 27 flat there. Not a bad first sector. He's now coming into the other hairpin right, into the quick long left. Snappy right hander, now approaching this third hairpin left now. Nice and tidy he goes, keeps it under control, decent exit. Let's see what he can do then in entering the second end of sector 2. It's a 54.1, same as Tony. Let's see what he can do in the third sector, where it's literally foot to the floor. Holds it in 7th there. So he's definitely got the traction and the aerodynamics for this track at the moment to hold it in 7th. Now into the final corner. Has he got enough battery to make it to the line? Because if you run out of battery, it's going to cost you a bit of time. He's now run out of battery, so he's going to lose a little bit of time coming to the line. But is it going to be provisional pole? The time is currently a 1:21.8. Isn't provisional pole, but it's 4th place at the moment. Alfie's still 3rd. Another bad lap then in the end for the Ferrari. But we'll go on board with the defending champion, Cameron Young then, in the second sector right now. As let's see what he can do. It is a 53.9 there, 1/10, almost 2/10 quicker than the big boy June in the second sector. Purple as well, Cameron is. Let's see what he can do in the final sector. He runs wide there and invalidates, and that's going to be really annoying him, and he needs to get a lap together, as he'll just send that as a banker then to see what he can do. As we'll go on board with Donut Denham then, currently in the first sector, and they're in turn at number 2 now, on the left-hander. Gets a decent exit now through turn 3, he goes. Rides the curve quite easily, doesn't invalidate or anything like that, as he's approaching the double right-hander then in the Aston. Takes a very nice and tidy line there, keeps it within the lines as well, into the hairpin, maybe taking a bit cautious than he usually does, or as he tries to pick up the throttle, loses a bit of the back end there. Does Donut Denham now through the right-hander, into the quick left, and then the quick right-hander again. Nice tie there from Ross. He's back into the hairpin left as he's approaching the end of sector 2 then. Cameron was doing a 53.9. Let's see what can Ross do then in the second sector. And it's definitely not going to be a 53.9. It's going to be a 54.5 there. Bit off the pace in the second sector. Now through the final sector, and as I said, foot to the floor. Keeps it just within track limits as a Mercedes going slowly ahead. I wonder if he's about to start up or going to the pit lane. It's going into the pits. I believe that is Ushin or Lordy in the pit lane. Now through the final corner, does Donut Denham go to the line then. DRS is active. And here he is then. The time is currently in ninth with a 122.410. Well, he's only a couple hundredths there off the pace at the moment, as we're going to go on board with the McLaren. I believe that was Luke. No, it wasn't. I think Alex Waller, who is the other McLaren driver, might have been impeded there, or either spun out, one or the other. As I believe the Mercedes of Lordy is on an out lap. What about Lee? Is he on a finishing lap? He is on a finishing lap, Lee Kelly is right now. Currently sitting in 8th with a 122.361. As Ollie then did settle up earlier and has gone at 5th place with a 121.946. Lee Kelly though, purple in the second sector. See what the Haas can do then. See if they can get a 1-2 in qualifying. Currently 2nd and 8th. They're looking for the constructors as well. Now into the final corner he goes then. He's almost out of battery. He is out of battery. Keeps it within the track limits. Coming to the line, there's yellows because of the Red Bull in the second sector. As here comes lead then to the line, and it's going to be a 1:21 flat there. 1.2 seconds improvement. And what a lap there from Lee. Already showing his pace there. And Miller has got to find some time to try and beat his teammate. Let's go on board with Luke Baker. I believe he is on a flying lap at the moment. He's entering at the end of sector 2 now. And it's going to be a 55.2 there, another 5/10 there off Ross, almost a second there, actually over a second off Cameron Young. Currently lining 14 with no time set, 3 laps on the softs as well. We'll have to admit that, the tyres are probably a bit dead, as I believe the Alpine, I believe, is behind him of Mumford there. We'll go on board with him as well, as he will be on a time lap. Currently his lap is a 122.164, as he got a good score set of points in Austria. He's got a podium in. And Luke goes to 12th then with a 23.2. We're going to go on board with Mumford then, who is on a lap now. DRS is active. He's already got 80%. I don't know if that's going to be able to cover the whole lap. As the McLaren there moves out of the way, very respectfully there for Luke. Nice and tight there through the first start of sector 1. Now into the double right-hander. Very tidy there through that double right-hander, keeps it within track limits as well. Into the left hairpin. He's 2/10 up on his time, so 2/10 at the moment if he finished the lap would actually put him in between Big Boy June and Ollie. Guarantee he'll find a bit more time in the second sector and the third. Somebody's just improved, and that is Brand there. Moves to P2 there with a 21.127 there. Good lap there from Brandon, showing that he's got some pace in the tank for Qatar today. Third sector, there's a Mercedes and a McLaren going slowly. I hope there hasn't been a bit of contact between one of them. As here comes Mumford then through the final corner. Where's he going to go? Could he be ahead of Alfie? Could he find some time on the lap? His ERS is out, and it's going to be a 1:21.7, and he does go 6th there. Fair enough there for Mumford. Found a lot of pace then in the final couple of sectors, and moves into 6th and ahead of Big Boy June and ahead of Oliver Favell. As Karen then is back on another lap. He's got Billy Mossam then in 16th, right behind him on a lap as well. As we've just entered sector 2 as well for the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull pair. Let's see if Cameron actually can get a lap. There's 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the session, so even if you don't get this lap together, he has one more chance to finally get a lap together after this. Right, yellow's in sector 3. That's Alfie going slowly. I think he's just getting ready for his lap. As he keeps it within track limits this time. Can he keep it though in this area? This is where he invited a bit more cautious, I think, this time, to try and get a lap on the board. And yep, keeps it within track limits this time. So Cameron is going to set a lap as long as he doesn't mess up this final corner. He's got plenty of battery left. Ooh, very close to that white line. But here comes Cameron then. It's going to be a decent time, I think. Potentially a low 121, maybe a 120. And the time is currently a 121.130. 3 thousandths of a second slower than Brand there. It's going to be a kick in the teeth being behind Brand by that much. But he's going to be happy that he set a flying lap there in the end. As we're going to go on board, I believe that's Mufford there. He's already set a lap. The Red Bull, Billy, I think, made a mistake. So I think Cameron Armstrong is the next one. He has invited it. So we're going to go on board with Big Boy Duran in the Ferrari. Currently in 8th with a 121.587. He's apparently improving. But he's peeling into the pits, so he wasn't happy with that lap in the end then. What about Alfie? Is he on a lap then at the moment? Yes, he is. Currently 4 tenths down. He is apparently 4 tenths down. Will he pit? Or has he found some time somewhere? Yeah, he's definitely pitting after that mistake. What about Alex? Alex has come across the line with a 22.839. As McLaren are trying to score some points for their team. Tony's currently on lap right now as well, but he peels into the pit lane. Ushin's also going to peel in the pit. Same with Cameron and same with the Alfa Romeo of Brandon, I believe. Or is that Ollie? It actually is Ollie. Ollie's actually going to start his final flying lap of the session with 3 minutes 33 seconds remaining. He's got to nail it to try and get further up the grid. Very close to that white line, but let's see what Ollie can do then. Down at the long straight then, as a Haas there leaving the pit lane. I believe that is Lee Kelly leaving the pit lane. It could be Millen. And it is Lee Kelly then, so the guy who's in provisional lead. Let's see what Ollie can do then. Into sector 1 he goes. Into the first hairpin, rides the curb, gets a decent exit. Right, first couple of corners then from Ollie. Now into the double right-hander then. Goes down to 5th gear, sets the turn in. Bit hesitant maybe with the throttle, but keeps it under control there through that section. End of sector 1, he's currently almost a 10th up there in the first sector. Oh, he loses the back end, and that's got to be upsetting for him, because that could have lost him all that time he's just found. Now into the right-hander. See if he can find some more time in the second sector. He's really got to nail this lap, or he's just messed it up completely, and that is game over for him. Into the hairpin he goes. Let's see what his end of sector 2 is, as the Haas is obviously going slow. It's probably save his tyres for his final run. End of sector 2, and it's 54.3. He's still up 300 up on his time, so he has not lost that much in the end. He's still up on his time then. Let's see what he can do, as Luke Baker has retired and he's called it quits for qualifying. He's currently starting 15th, could be starting 18th if the other 3 set lap times. But here comes Ollie then, the last person to set a lap for himself. Round the final corner the Alfa Romeo goes to the line. Let's see what lap time it's going to be. Has he found some more time? Has he found a couple of tenths, or is it only 300ths he found in the end? Coming to the line, it's going to be a 121.864. There's probably at least 2 tenths in that lap. Stays P10 then. Just misses out to potentially get ahead of Mumford, the Big Boy Duran. But it's got to be annoying for that. As I believe Sondre Sohaug then, the owner of the league, currently starting a flying lap then. His final flying lap as well in the Alpine. Currently in 11th with a 122. And he loses the back end there. Can't keep the car under control. Somehow that is not invalidated. I don't know if he's going to continue with the lap. And I don't know. See, I don't think he is continuing that. I think he's completely backed off. I think he realises that's a bit cheaty there. Yeah, he's 1.3 seconds off. So he has backed off in the end. We're going to go on board with Billy Mossimo. He's got to be careful where he rejoins that track there. The Alpine goes into the gravel, as well as the Aston there of Tony in the background on an outlap. As we'll go on board with Lee Kelly, who's straight up after Billy. Let's see what the Red Bull can do then in the end of Sector 2. Sondre's going to have to get moving sooner. He's not going to have enough time to get a lap. See what Billy can do then in the second sector, and it's a 54.5 then. Matching Ross's pace. As the Alphas are preparing for slipstream, I noticed. Oh, and Billy invalidates, and that's his lap over. Lee's also invited. What about Cameron? Is that Cameron behind? Yeah, it is. Is that New Zealand Cam? He's also invited. What about the Mercedes? Is that Ushin behind? Yes, it is. Then I believe that will be Sondre. And then Alfie, he is on a provisional lap. But I believe Lodi is as well. As Billy has retired as well then. So we'll go on board with Lodi then. Currently in the second sector right now. Just ahead of the Alpha. See what he can do. End of sector 2. Ooh, runs a bit wide down the curb. Probably cost him a bit of time. Time's 2 tenths down, so he's going to have to find a lot of time in this third sector. Maybe he messed up completely in his third sector, but let's see what he can do then. Somebody's just set a flyer, and I'm guessing that is Ushin, potentially, or Ross, moving up there, because someone has definitely moved up positions. Well, here comes Lloyd then to the line then. It's going to be, he's got plenty of battery to use left coming to the straight. Yellow's in sector 3. We're going to go on board with Alfie straight after. Has Lodi improved? Yes, by 2 tenths there as well. And so does Alfie. Took provisional pole. What is this? A 120.913. I was not expecting this from the one-armed Alfie there. Not a bad time there from Alfie. He's got to be happy with that. As we see the Williams, I believe, of Vizia coming to line. Yes, he does. No lap time on the board. As we're going to go on board with Tony, if it lets me quickly. He's invited. The Ferrari was going to be next. What about Ollie? He's also invited. What about Cameron Young? Is he going to take provisional pole? He's not invited. The Alfa Romeo's obviously peeling into the pit lane. Here comes Cameron then. Is he going to take provisional pole? Is it going to be an Alpha Toy 1-2? Coming to the line then. And the time is going to be pole then with the 120.734. Then what a lap there from Cameron. And finally gets a lap what he needed. Ushin moves to third, and Ushin's got some strong pace then on the cards. Lee isn't setting a lap, and that is the qualifying positions, and that is the grid order then for the race. It's an AlphaToy 1-2 with the Mercedes of Ushin in third and Brandon Glover then in fourth place. So not bad laps from everybody today in this quality session, as the Mercedes are getting a bit close. Got to be careful that the game doesn't bug out and give people 5 grid place penalties. There's your top 18. So it looks like Curse won't be joining us then today, unfortunately. So Millen's got a good chance to extend his championship lead. Also could lose some points to some other people. So then, this is your grid order for the race. Cameron Young then with a 120.734. What a lap then, and finally got a decent lap together. Alfie then, a surprise for us all in P2 with a 120.913 then, with Ushin in third, decent lap from him. Brandon in fourth, and decent pace yet again, a 21 flat actually as well. Lee Kelly in fifth, Cameron Armstrong sixth, Millam seventh, Mumford eighth, Ross Donut Denham in ninth, Big Boy Jr. in 10th, Ollie in 11th, Lordy 12th, Sondre in 13th, Carrot Finger Alex in 14th, Luke 15th, Brazia, Billy and Tony, no lap time set, 16th, 17th and 18th. But I think this is going to be a very interesting race. Could even see Tony late stage in the race be up near the top guys. But my race prediction, I'm going to go with an AlphaTauri 1-3. I think Cameron's going to win. I'm going to go with Bran in second, I think, with the consistency and usually keeps out of trouble. And I'm going to go with Alfie third. Fourth, it could be Tony, it could be Ushin, and it could be Millam and Lee. It's going to be close for fourth, I think, for today. And obviously clear skies, since we're in the desert. There's no threat of rain at the present time. So we're going to have some decent racing hopefully today. That's while we wait for people to pick their race strategies, and then we'll get on with the race. While we wait then for Alpine. Sorry, AlphaTauri dominance. Okay, so if you actually could race there, maybe it wouldn't be an AlphaTauri dominance, you know. But hopefully you can make it for the next round. As still waiting then for people to finally tune their race strategies, pick the fuel loads they want to run, and obviously when they want to pit. You never know, you might see some guys decide to go on the softs for this race. It'll be interesting strategy if they do try and do a 2-stop. But I think everybody will be doing a 1-stop for today. And now we have 5 red lights then for the Qatar race. And we're underway, and it looks like the AlphaTauri have had a good start, but the Merc then in the background looked like he got away well, but in the second phase couldn't get it on the AlphaTauri. Though goes around the outside of one of the AlphaTauri, but the AlphaTauri are in combat there, first and second, as there's cars all over the place in the background trying to slot into the positions. You can see Miller there making a cracker of a start, already past Lee, already past Mumford, already past Brandon, already into P4 on the hard tyres, and ready to try and keep his championship lead in this round. As we see Alex and Bazir fighting. We see Lordy dropping a limit. Big Boy Jewin dropping a couple of places. It's all kicking off. We see an Aston Martin in the background, and it's Donut Denham yet again in the gravel trap as usual from Donut Denham. And not a good start. Yet again, 3 rounds in a row he's been involved in some sort of incident. Well, start other than that has been quite clean. As we can see further down in the background, we can see Luke and Billy getting into wars. As it lets me select it, as they're going side by side. Ooh, very close there between the McLaren and the Red Bull. Going side by side yet again, a bit of more contact there in the hairpin. Billy tried to send him. We see a Ferrari going a bit wide there as well. Now he's losing positions, and Tony yet again has had a cracker of a start, moving to P11 already challenging the Mercedes of Lordy in 10th to try and get into the points at least. So we've got to watch out for Tony, because he looks like he's got some strong, solid pace, and he's on the same strategies as the leads. But the yellows, there's an Alpine and a Haas going slowly. That is Lee Kelly and Mumford there. Lee Kelly yet again can't get it together. Looks like he's got away with it, but Mumford definitely hasn't. This is twice he's been involved with an incident. Cameron obviously sets the provisional fastest lap, and that is lap number 1. There's already been chaos already as Cameron leads, Alfie second, and Ushin right behind him with Millam, and then Bran in 5th. Lee Kelly then moves into P11, then passing the McLaren, trying to recover what he lost there by making a little error potentially with the Williams. But look at Tony, already in P9, and he's trying to get past Lordy in 8th. As Bazia and Billy did peel into the pits. I wonder if they did get some type of damage. Looks like Tony's a lot more comfortable and a lot more confident compared to Lordy and Ollie into that braking zone. Although he's got to watch behind him. He's got an aggressive Ferrari on his wing. So on lap number 2 then. As we've already got a bit of a pecking order already. Top 5 already pulled away, and they're on the harder compounded tyre to Cameron Armstrong. Oh, sorry, not Holly Favell. So Cameron Armstrong will actually drop off when those tyres die out. But Tony is trying to get past Tony's actually trying to get past Lordy there wherever he can. But Lordy's trying to keep up with Ollie. But Tony right now is not using really that much of his battery. Neither is the Ferrari behind. But the Mercedes is using too much of his battery. Tony right on the backside of that Ferrari, Mercedes, and the Ferrari around the backside of the Aston. It's really kicking off right now. We could see a 3-wide move potentially down this home straight. Lordy makes a mistake, and here comes Tony now. He's making a move, and he's going for P8 potentially. New fast lap is 24.626 by the Red Bull, and the Ferrari just winning the wings in case these two come into contact into one. But here comes Tony then through the inside there. Takes the Merc, bit of contact, bit of wheel rubbing. Lordy goes off. Cameron's got a 3-second penalty. And look at Big Boy Jewin around the outside and passes the Mercedes there of Lordy. Lordy then drops to P10. Probably not going to be happy with Tony with that move. But Tony now has got other plans. He's now on a challenge for Ollie Favell for P7 at the moment. We keep an eye on the AlphaTauri's ahead. Alfie and Cameron still scrapping away for the lead. There's a lot of fights up ahead as well. We've got Cameron Armstrong now picking up the pace. So we did not see him pass Brand. So maybe Brand made a mistake or some type of error. But he's on the Mercedes now of Ushin. Ushin is in 4th. Millam into 3rd. And Tony ready and waiting to take on Ollie Favell. We've got to go on board with him yet again as we keep on this fight. Another 5-car fight. The McLaren there of Alex just dropping behind a little bit. Then we've got a bit of another gap, 4 seconds behind that, with Luke Baker, Mumford, Ross, Bazia and Sondre. And Lee Kelly making a move on the Merc now, passing Lordy. And Lee Kelly trying to keep up with the Ferrari and the Aston and the Alfa Romeo. As we still keep an eye on the action up front. Alfie may try and make the move, but we're going to keep an eye on this fight right now. This is what matters for P7. Ollie's in a bit of trouble now. Here comes Tony, DRS active, ERS in use, and he's making this move. Easy peasy, lemon squeeze then into P7. The Aston goes then. And he's through, but look at Big Boy June. Ollie doesn't want to get passed by 2 cars, does he? As he tries to hold it round the outside. The Ferrari's getting alongside. He's through. The Ferrari is through then, moves into P8, and Ollie Favell drops to P9. So the guy on mediums looking like they're a lot of better tyre compared with hards, but we can see some compact up ahead between Alfie, Millam, Ushin as well in the background. Millam isn't taking any witnesses today. He wants to get this position. He knows he can take this win today. He's got the pace. He knows he can extend his championship lead as well. He knows he needs to get this win as well. He's got to make the move. He's got to make it now before he gets overtaken again by Ocean or even Cameron Armstrong on the medium compound tyre. But Cameron trying to salvage some part of this race to the end because he's got a 3-second penalty, trying to get out of that DRS range. Maybe he's bit of team order between him and Alfie to tell Alfie potentially to drop back to try and slow the guys up, but it's not working. Millen is doing what he needs to do. Oh, Alfie there made a little error, but Millen is looking hungry. The AlphaTauri though, not really that well on the battery compared to Millen, as Mumford picks up a 3-second penalty. It's usually the other Alpine who picks up the pens and usually gets DSQ'd because of it. But here comes Alfie then, and Millen going side by side then down the long straight, coming into one, and it looks like an easy move there for Millen to move in a second. Now Cameron's got to be worried. Millen has got some solid pace on the hard compounder tyre compared to the AlphaTauris. Maybe the AlphaTauris were just tuned up for quali, like it was with the McLarens and the Mercedes a couple of rounds ago in real life compared to the Red Bull. Luke then in a 15th, scrapping away with Mumford then in the background. I'm going to have to go on board with it as quick as I can. They're still going side by side into left hander. Billy picks up a 3-second pen. Oh, very close to that track limit there. Sondre now picks up a penalty as well as they're trying to keep up with Ross on the medium compound. Mumford then moves into P14. Luke then drops to 15th. Now, Alfie has got to watch out now. He's dropping a bit back from Cameron and Millen. And the guys behind, Big Boy Jew, and he's now starting to pull these along to slowly catch up with Brandon Glover in 6th position. So we could start seeing the other lot catch up. And this is great for Tony as well. Just let him pull him along on the quicker compounded tyre. Ocean though's got to watch out. Cameron Armstrong is all over the back of him, and he's got a hungry Bran right behind as well. It's really kicking off in the first couple of laps. We had a couple of incidents, overtakes. Just got to be smart with your calls. What about Millen then? Is he going to use his battery? Nope, he's staying with him. But he might just have enough straight line speed, actually, to be fair, without battery, to make the position. He makes the move, and he's into the lead. Millen takes the lead over Cameron Young, and Cameron is just not having a good race at the moment, but he's still in second, obviously, with the pen. Might drop him a couple of positions later on in the race, but right now, he's got to watch out that he don't get passed by more people behind, because Alfie is doing a very good job keeping up with Cameron and holding the guys behind as well for Ushin, Cameron Armstrong and Brandon. And good evening, Edward, welcome. Still, unfortunately, it's a shame you couldn't make it today for the race. Right now though, Bran hits the back end of the Red Bull. That's not going to be happy. He had contact with one of the Red Bulls last weekend with Fergus Wilson. He got a race ban in the end due to the altercation he did. We'll be back, I believe, for the next round. Vazia picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pits. He might retire in the end. Nope, I think he's carrying on going, as Brandon might have got a bit of minor damage. Sondre picks up another penalty, so that's 6 seconds now. Cameron is just getting dropped by Millen. Millen's not even using the battery, and he's getting just dropped. Gap 6/10 right now. Alfie might start thinking, you know what, I know you're my teammate and everything, but I feel like I'm quicker. Let me just go. Because Ushin is not that far behind, and Ushin's been showing some strong pace in the practice session he's doing. Look at the battery use as well. He's got 90%, and I think he's going to go for it this time. He's using his battery. He's going to go for it. Into one he goes, the Mercedes, and Ushin moves into P3. Cameron trying to get back alongside Millen, not close enough, but now he's got to watch his mirrors. It's no longer his teammate involved. It is the Mercedes of Ushin, and Ushin will give no quarter. He will make the overtake when he'll need to make it. As we have 3 cars then scrapping, almost 4 cars then as well, actually counting Alfie. I thought he dropped back there a bit after the overtake, but 4 cars then scrapping for the lead of this race. Tony also waiting in the wings then with Big Boy June in P7. Oh, Zas looked like he went a bit deep, as we can't see him due to the graphic there on the left side there. There's a 3-second penalty then added to Brazil again. Cameron's just trying to get the car tuned in, save a bit of battery, just chill out. Try and find a slot where he can make a move, but he can't chill out too much because he's got a hungry Mercedes right behind him with the same battery as him and probably a bit quicker pace, to be honest. As Cameron Armstrong's trying to get back into this fight, as Brand's completely dropped off, so I'm guessing he's definitely got some sort of damage to that front wing, which is just hurting him into the corners. But Millen leads. with Cameron and Ushin right on his tail as Billy picks up a 3 second, and that Red Bull's definitely got a warning for that track limit. Oh, back. Oh, Millam's gone off, and that's definitely a warning as well. This is not what he needs. But here comes Cameron, and he's now making a move, not using battery, just sends it. Ushin is gaining, but ain't getting enough to make a move, and the lead switches around again. As Edward is cheering on at Ushin there. As Brandon is peeled into the pit lane, he did get a bit of damage to the front wing, and a new front wing has been put on the car, and it's a set of mediums then. Be a bit of a push for those mediums to go to the end. Hards maybe, yeah, but mediums. Maybe Brandon's hoping for a safe car and might have to convert to a 2-stop. Millam then, in P2. Will probably re-overtake Cameron very soon. We just keep switching around every time on the straights, but the Red Bull of Cameron Armstrong is back on those mediums. He's looking like he's got strong pace yet again, but the reason why he's got so strong pace is because he's burnt basically all of his battery. He's only got 20% compared to the guys ahead of him who've got over 80, unless you're Alfie, who's only got 60. But on lap 8 then, the field's a bit spread out. We've got obviously fight for the lead, fight for the second group of the points, and then obviously a couple of little scraps in the background, and then a couple of gaps as well. But Cameron then picked up the pace a little bit this time round, brought up a gap of 6/10, so we're going to go on board with Ushin now. I think he's now wants a bit of a go on Millam, and I think he's going to go for it this time. Millam's not using his battery, neither is Ushin, so no, there's no way Millam's going to go for a late dive into one, is he? No, he was thinking about it. Oh, as Ushin runs a bit deep, Alfie there almost gains. It looked like Alfie was going to just carry on and run into the back end of the Mercedes there. The position changes, Edward, is Tony. He's gained the biggest position right change, 12. Alfie's obviously lost 2. Biggest loser is Bram, obviously due to that whack with the Red Bull into the hairpin corner. And obviously penalties. Cameron's got 3 seconds, Moore 3 seconds, Billy's under 6, and Brazil 14. Something like that right now. Alfie just trying to keep up the pace with the top 3, and he's doing quite well. I will give him that, as he struggled with the first 2 rounds, barely scoring any points, and Cameron has said to him privately, so yeah, I need to start scoring decent points now, and it looks like Alfie's risen up to the job. It's still early in the race, obviously, but right now Alfie's showing some good promise then in the AlphaTauri. Was a former IRL champion. As Alex then picks up a 3-second time penalty. Ushin is getting a bit closer to the Haas of Millam. Millam's just keeping Cameron honest with the gap. Lordy's picked up a 3-second penalty now. Still not using his battery. Millam's probably used a little bit of his battery this time. 52%, Sonny's got another penalty. 9 seconds now. And Millam's just lifting off every time he gets close to him. I'm wondering if these lot are just trying to pull each other along and then go for an attack later on in the race, because Tony right now has actually just made a move for P6 there, just missed that, as Lee's dropped to 7th. So Tony has broken almost out of DRS, and Lee Kelly's using a bit of his battery. Big Boy Jewin's trying to get into the mix. And I wouldn't count Tony out either, to be fair. He always starts near the back of the grid and he just shows some strong pace. Brand sets a new fastest lap with the 24.447 then on the medium, so he's got some strong pace right now. Tony, though, is trying to catch up with the guys ahead. He's out of DRS range from Lee, which is 1.1. The gap the car ahead is 2.1, and he's obviously on the quicker tyre. First lap we saw Donut Denham charge into the gravel after making an error into the double right-hander. But other than that, the only last bit of carnage we had was between Brand and Cameron Armstrong. Brand just braked a bit too late and tapped his wing, and obviously that's why he pit for a new front wing then. As the gap lead is starting to increase a bit more now. Cameron's picked up the pace yet again. Gap now 0.8 of a second, and Millam has used more of his battery this time, trying to keep up with him. It looks like his tyres maybe slightly dropping off compared to the others. As Brand picks up a 3-second tyre penalty, that's very rare to see from Brand. But he's got a penalty then. But here comes Ushin, down the straight he goes. Is he going to potentially make the move? Nope. Still a bit too far back. Tony now 2 seconds. And he's pulled away from Lee Kelly and Big Boy Jewin then. This is the only scrap we have right now. We're going to go on board with the Haas. we'll actually go on board with the Ferrari actually and see where he actually gains most of his time. It looks like at the moment in the first sector he gains a little bit with a little error there. Lee made in the double right. But Lee had a good qualifying, and then suddenly his pace has gone as Tony's lost a bit of time now, 2.3 seconds. Lee's almost back into that range there, so maybe Lee's now got his act back together. And I've just missed that as well. Millen is out of DRS range. Millen is now going to be hunted by the guys behind him with Cameron Armstrong, Alfie and Ushin. Cameron is doing what he needs to. He's obviously burned a bit more battery. Millen's also burned us a lot more as well. He's now only at 25%. Ushin is still on 92 when the guy's still matching his pace. Millen is in trouble right now. Same with Cameron. Even though Cameron's pulled away the 1.4 second gap, Ushin can catch that gap back up by just using a bit of his battery. And I think it's time for Ushin to make the move to second. The Mercedes is going for it, and he's through. Look at the straight line speed he goes. And now Alfie might get in the mix. He could have potentially died it there. Millen hold him off for now, but as you can see, that Millen now has to be careful that he doesn't lose too much time now to Ushin, because if Ushin just pulls away, he's just going to keep dropping a few places down, and eventually Tony will catch him. As big boy Duran is into the pit lane, going on the hard compounded tyre, so he's making an early stop then on his mediums. They'll definitely make it to the end, obviously, but a bit earlier compared to the other medium runners, and he's rejoining in between the Alfa Romeo Brandon Glover and just ahead of Luke Baker in the McLaren. Ushin then already gained within a second. Cameron's making errors, it looks like. It looked like a little bit of twitch there on the camera. But the gap is 9 tenths right now. Ushin is flying. Could the Mercedes get a win today? And could Ushin finally get a win in IRL? Millen is trying to keep up with him with DRS range. He's almost out of it already. 8 tenths. Cameron picked up the pace a little bit more this time now. 1.1 seconds. Sondra picks up another penalty. That's 12 seconds worth of penalties like he had in Austria. But Ushin is flying right now. But a guy who's definitely not flying, it is Lewis Millen. He's now under threat by Alfie, and Alfie's had enough. He wants a position, and he now makes it work. Alongside he goes, and you've got to watch out from the Red Bull in the background. He might make it work. Round the outside, he's going for it. The Red Bull's trying to get into the mix. He's trying to keep alongside, goes for the switcheroo. Can't make it work this time round. And Miller's pace has just fallen off a cliff. And look at the Red Bull. Cameron Armstrong wasn't really with Miller's pace a couple of rounds ago. And now he's picking up, potentially going to make it through on the double left. Oh, as he takes the brake marker board out, the 100 metre marker board out. That, got to be careful there. Maybe he was trying to avoid Millen's rotation, but there's yellows. There's an Alpine going slowly, and that is Sondre Sohaug, or Boilhaug as he's called, and that's another penalty. Sondre's now picking up the pens again. He now has, if it shows me, it's 15 seconds. I said lap 10 to him, he'd probably get DSQ'd, but Jesus, don't make it reality. And Millen's saying, you can tell Millen's got a TT set up. And yeah, I believe you're right. And oh, Jesus Christ, Sondre, you're picking up too many penalties there. Millen's just completely gone off the cliff. Alfie's dropped away. We're going to go on board with Ushin now. He's really flying. Still got plenty of battery. Cameron's got hardly anything. Cameron's trying his best to just pull away, get out of that 3 second gap of a penalty he has, and he can't do it. The defending champion is getting schooled right now by the Mercedes behind him of Ushin, who hasn't had the best start of the season, but it looks like his luck is about to change as he's gaining on the AlphaTauri a lot down the straight. Is he potentially going to go for the overtake? It looks like he is. Cameron defends then, and here comes Ushin into the lead, into turn 1. They're going side by side still. Sondre's caught it a day as he's picked too many penalties, but Ushin takes the lead. Ross then picks up a penalty. Ushin then in the lead now. He can just chill out, and if he wants to slow the pace down. But Ushin then in the lead he goes. Cameron drops to second. Alfie in third. Millen in a fourth. Cameron Armstrong not that far off Millen. We'll go on board with that fight in a second. Just keep an eye on the fights also in the background between Bran and Mumford and big boy Duran and Bran. But it's good racing between the top 5 at the moment. We had Cameron Armstrong getting there a little bit. Millen having a couple of overtakes. It's good racing so far at the new racetrack. I'm going to go on board with Millen as Curtis says we need Ushin to win. Okay, man, you should have raced, man. You know, you could have potentially taken the win as well, but obviously couldn't make it. Alan Millam is just lost complete pace on these hard. He's got to think about pitting soon. Maybe think about the undercut. Maybe think about the undercut and try and see if you can work that out on the mediums. But right now, he's just got no pace. Millam's just in a world of his own. Cameron Armstrong's obviously losing pace compared to the mediums. The mediums eventually will be dying off. So Millam is completely off as well because Cameron Armstrong is matching him. Hardly any ERS. All obviously the same laps on the tyres, but he's on mediums. The mediums are going to be dead compared to the hards. As Billy picks up another 3-second penalty. We're going to have to go in the background though, if it lets him quickly. As we can see, Big Boy Drew now trying to make an overtake. Cameron picks up another penalty. That's 6 seconds, but the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari going side by side. We've got Ross just ahead of him. As they're going side by side again, Ross runs a bit deep into the exit of turn 1. And it's really heating up for P8 right now. And here comes Big Boy June. Here comes Bran. And here comes Ross. And Ross just lets them go. As these two are still scrapping away. And the Ferrari's right in the Alfa Romeo's gearbox. Now as Billy picks up another penalty. One of these drivers are definitely going to get DSQ'd from this race. The way these penalties are adding up. As Cameron, still 5/10. Alfie's gain was out of that DRS range at one point. Now back into the DRS range. Millam is almost out. He is out now, 1 second, and he will be under threat by Cameron Armstrong. We're going to have to go on board. We are going to go on board as, actually, Millam is into the pit lane, and the AlphaTauri and Ushin also into the pits. Let's see where they go then. Ooh, very close there, going over the speed limit, it looked like, as he locks up there. Into the pits he goes then, medium compound on. And he's leaving the pit stop, good stop there for the Mercedes. And decent stop for the other two as well. And Russell, oh yeah, I do remember Ross has actually a 15-second pen for this race. So actually no points will be on the cards for Ross the way he's going. Bran and Ollie have just pitched. We see Big Boy June and Bran scrapping away as Big Boy June then moves into P6. This is not what Cameron need, because Big Boy June, yeah, he's pit. Yeah, Cameron's on the quicker tyres, but he's got 6 seconds worth of penalties, right? We've seen with Cameron Armstrong, usually not having the pace matching Millam in the first 2 rounds, he had older tyres and he was matching him. And he was on mediums. So, right now, Millam, he's screwed. Millam's in 8th. He's now got to find a way to get past Bran. Bran's not going to give up without a fight. Big Boy June especially, and the same with Cameron. He's got nothing to lose now. So, Ushin looks like he's going to take the victory. Obviously, he can't count out Tony either. Well, so we're going to go on board with Cameron, actually, at the moment. As Alfie then peels into the pit lane. Actually, we'll go on board with Alfie, because we're going to see where he comes out after his pit stop. So Cameron, people say Cameron should potentially go for softs. It could work. As Alfie leaves the pit lane. As Alfie's leaving the pits then, the Mercs past the... Well, Alfie staying at an extra lap. It's going to be close between him and Millam as he tries to get alongside. Can't make work. He drops behind Millam then in the end. And, wow, well. Cameron Armstrong then. Still leading this race. Tony second. We then have Ushin, who is the net leader right now. He's got Cameron obviously behind him, keeping him honest. And Big Boy Drew, and then in P5, currently 7.5 tenths behind. And then we have Brandon, who's almost out of DRS range. Tony picks up a 3-second time penalty. And obviously these guys who've pit, they're going to slowly start getting time. Millam now makes the move on Bran. But as I said, Bran isn't going to give up. Bran's still there, so they're going very close there. Millam picks up a penalty, so does Alfie then as well. You couldn't give him any more space there. Millam's not going to be happy with that. So this definitely opens the door for Ushin to take the victory of this race. Now the Alfa Romeo and the Haas and the AlphaTauri going into combat then. The 3 cars are already out of DRS range, so this is not what Millam needed. Now Millam's got to use more battery. He doesn't really have the battery. And, well, actually, some information about why Millen's pace dropped off. We'll go on board with that, actually, after. But right now, Cameron's at the fastest lap. Bran is now losing a position to Alfie, potentially. Alfie's making the move on the inside. They're gaining on Millen. Bran then drops to P6. But back on board with Millen. Apparently, the reason why his pace has completely dropped off is because he didn't actually realise how much fuel he needed around the track. And he don't actually have enough fuel for him to actually push. It could be an excuse. We don't know, but well, right now, maybe that's why Millen's pace has dropped off a cliff, or it's just him not feeling confident on the setup. As Ross picks up another penalty around here. Bran's in a bit of trouble right now again. He's got Lee Kelly now making a move. No way Lee Kelly's going to make this move around the outside. Bran's got to give him the space. Lee is there. Lee is off the track there, though. He's got to be careful. Side by side they go. Oh, and now the Red Bull getting into the mix as well. It's 3 cars fighting for this position. Bran's got to be careful here. He's got Cameron Armstrong and Lee Kelly, both aggressive drivers, going 3 wide into the right-hander. And there's contact. The Haas has definitely got front wing damage, and same with the Alfa Romeo. The Red Bull there may have been in the wrong, but he's flying on those soft tyres. I don't know if that probably will be investigated. Yeah, Lee's definitely pitting. He's got to pit. Same with Bran. And this opens the door for Tony to get some more positions then, and not having to overtake. Cameron sets a new fastest lap, 24.386, as he's just passed Ushin for the lead. Ushin now 4 tenths behind, but he's pulled away from Big Boy Jun. As I said, Big Boy Jun 2.3 seconds. 1 lap 19, we've got out of 29, we've got plenty of laps left. Now, here comes Millen then. He's trying to stay with the AlphaTauri as Brian obviously going into the pits, loses a bit of time. Same with Russell. Russell's in the pit lane as well. As Alfie then, 4 tenths right now, right behind the Ferrari. Same with Millen. Millen's not far off. He's trying to obviously stay within that DRS range. Ushin still looks the favourite to win this race as 1 lap 19. Obviously a bit of chaos between a couple of drivers there, but right now on board with the Ferrari, just ahead of Alfie in the AlphaTauri there. Potentially going to make a move on the right-hander. No, waits his turn going through this flat-out section. As we said, don't make a move here. It's not really worthwhile, as we saw the Alfa Romeo, the Haas and the Red Bull found out. And obviously that made Bran Lee peel in the pits for a new wing. Yeah, again, Bran's been a bit hindered with that. Although Alfie just waiting his turn. He gets a cracking exit compared to the hard compound. Makes the move. Don't really need battery to burn, but it's an easy move to make, and he moves into P3. A new fast lap from Cameron Armstrong at 23.868. Millen then obviously trying to claw his way back through the field. He's obviously not going to get a podium today. That's 1 lap, 20 out of 29. Right now then, the Red Bull now, Cameron Armstrong, trying to get past the Haas of Millen. Cameron Armstrong's already caught these two already. Cameron Armstrong is flying on those softs, but eventually these soft tyres in the next couple of laps, they're going to be like, well, Millen's pace was on the hards. Completely off the pace, and we're getting some news that Ushin apparently needs to save some fuel. He hasn't got enough fuel there, and that's why he's dropped the pace. Cameron's picked up the pace now to 1.6 seconds. So has Ushin made a crucial mistake not to put enough fuel in the car. Here comes Cameron Armstrong now. He's making the move. No battery left. Millen has to lift. He looked like he was going to make the move there, and he's probably not going to be happy with that as he got boxed in, but he makes the move anyway on the Ferrari around the inside there. Potentially going to go on the outside onto the left-hander approaching. Yeah, Ferrari's got to give him the space. He does give him the space. We get a beautiful helicopter shot there from the little scrap there between the Red Bull, Haas and the Ferrari. But Ushin has completely dropped off the pace. As we can see Jay. Good to see IRL still going. It's good to see you, Jay. It's been a while. And hopefully Potentially you could make a return, obviously, but it's good to see you into the chat. But right now then, Brandon picked up the pace, new fastest lap, 1:23.802 on the medium compound compared to Cameron Armstrong's time on the soft tyres. Merman in a 5th, currently under threat by Big Boy June on the hard still. Alfie then, 5/10 off Ushin. Could we see a potential Alpha 21-2, even though they've got penalties? If Ushin is fuel saving, as we can see the pace already with that fuel saving moment he's had, he's dropped 2 seconds from Cameron. Well, on lap 21 out of 29, has he saved enough fuel? Gap between Ollie and Lordy in the background is 5 tenths as well. We're going to keep an eye on that scrap, as well with Big Boy June and Miller. As Alfie making the move. Ushin defends a little bit. Side by side they go, almost wheel banging there, but Alfie makes the move. Oh, Ushin has to avoid. And Big Boy June doesn't make the move yet. Yes, he does. He makes the move now on Millum. Millum then into P6. Millum scrapping away with a hard runner. It's not what he wanted, as his pace is definitely falling off. Maybe he's still fuel saving. Cameron Armstrong, Ushin and Alfie scrapping away now. They're going into combat yet again. Did miss that as I was watching the fight between Big Boy June and Millum. I hope Alfie didn't give Ushin damaged by making a reckless move or anything, as we have seen him with the past couple of rounds. Been a bit iffy with his overtakes. Obviously got a penalty with the contact out Edward. Didn't get a penalty surprisingly at Austria with nobody reporting him. Alfie's got to be careful. Gap already dropped to a 2nd for Ushin. Cameron Armstrong's not that far off. Lee Kelly now picking up a penalty. On lap 22, there's no way we're going to see a Cameron Armstrong potential podium. As we're on lap 22 out of 29, Cameron still leads. Gap 1.9 Alfie, 1.6 to Ushin. Ushin still, I think, fuel saving, but he's in trouble. Here comes Cameron Armstrong now. He's now making a move, and he moves into P3. This is an actual net P3, technically net P1. Could Cameron Armstrong win this race? Has he got enough fuel? Has he got enough pace to potentially fight Alfie and Cameron due to their penalties? This could be a first where Cameron Armstrong wins in IRL, because I believe a couple of the other drivers have won. Same with Ushin. If he won, it would be his first win in IRL. But Cameron Armstrong is flying on those soft compound right now, and I thought they would have died off already, but they're not. He's still flying. He's trying to keep up. He's already put out of Ushin's the gap already. And there's a bit of scraps further behind. Ollie's now dropped to 12. We did miss that. Going on board with Tony though. He's also on the soft commander tyre. And Aaron rumours that a lot of people are not going to have enough fuel to the end. So as people made big mistakes in the fuel loads, Tony, maybe looking for a potential podium, makes a move on Millen. Millen looks like he's just got to save fuel. Yeah, you can see the yellow warning light. He hasn't got enough fuel. So he's fuel saving right now. He hasn't got enough fuel. He's in trouble. That's alright, Jay. If you haven't played since 2020, you'll still be quicker than some of these lot. You know? You never know. You're definitely quicker than Sondre as Millen peels into the pit lane. Don't know why he's making another pit stop. It's not helping his championship sake. It's definitely benefiting the Williams pairing. Oh, he almost goes over that white line there. Well, Millen in the pits. See what tyres he goes on. And no, that isn't a front wing change. Oh no, actually, hang on. No, it's not a front wing change. I thought he was getting a front wing there for some reason. As the Williams peeling into the pits, Millen then going to go for fastest lap. So Bazir then in the pits from 17th. As Lee then pulling away from Bran. The Haas pairing are going to be racing on the exit. Bran's trying to keep up with the Haas. Cameron Armstrong, though, going to go back on board with them. Currently 8 tenths right now off the Red Bull, off the AlphaTauri, the sister team compared to the Red Bull. 7.5 tenths now. Surely these softs can't go to the end and have this pace. There's just no way. Cameron Armstrong is flying right now. Billy, 3-second time penalty. We look on penalties right now as well. Alfie's only got 3 seconds, so Alfie will jump Cameron right now. Cameron might actually be knocked off the podium. Cameron, 6/10. He's just burning every lap. He's just burning every bit of his battery he's got. 0% battery left now. Well, Cameron and Alfie aren't with fuel issues anymore. Ushin's still got a fuel problem. He's 4 seconds off the pace now, so it looks like Ushin's win is basically out now. It's game over for Ushin. It looked like he was going to take the victory, but he made a mistake due to the fuel. But we could see Cameron Armstrong take the win. Oh, Alfie makes an error. Cameron Armstrong is making to go for it. Oh, Alfie's got to be careful with the defending. So on board then, the Red Bull. And yeah, Kersey is saving. He's yellow wine light starting, and he's just not really got the pace right now. There's Alfie then. Red light on his battery. Neither of them have got battery use. Gap 2.1 from Cameron and Alfie now. Is Alfie going to be the Perez in the team with him and Cameron? Well, Cameron Armstrong's making a move, and that's easy. Just an easy overtake. Down the straight he goes. Ushin's retired in the pit lane, so maybe you think he can't make it to the end, so Ushin's given up. That now opens the door for potentially if Big Boy June can keep this pace and probably gain a bit of time on the others, potentially of a podium. Gap between him and leader 7.1. He needs to find 1 and a bit seconds worth of pace and close that gap down to around about 5.9 to potentially drop Cameron off the podium. But right now, Cameron is on the podium. He will be third right now. Cameron Armstrong then. Gap 2.1. Doesn't need to worry about this one. Lap 26 out of 29. Plenty of laps to go. Ross then moves in the 10th. Obviously will lose that due to penalties. But I think Ollie's actually that far behind that Ross actually will still somehow manage to get a point. Oh no, it was an issue with the gap. Actually, no, he won't. Ollie will get the points if obviously Ross finishes 10th. There's the Mercedes of Ushin's obviously going slowly. And who else is struggling? Big June, isn't he? I'll keep an eye on the fight. I'll have a look who's struggling a bit, Curse, or Sondra can let you know. I think Millam is still struggling. He had an issue with his fuel. As Lordy pulls out the side. Would be a shock winner of the season. Alfie, though, is not giving up. He makes the move, and the McLaren there is getting into the mix. That's, I think, Luke Baker. Is it Luke Baker or is it Alex? No, it's Luke Baker. I don't know why Luke Baker. Even though, Luke, you're on the quicker tyre, I'd just let these guys race. You don't want to do what Ocon obviously did to Verstappen, and then, obviously, Verstappen cried. But right now, then, fight for P2. Technically the lead. It's in between Alfie and Cam. Lap 27 out of 29. Not that many laps left of the race, as we can see Brandon then passing Millen in 7th. And I've looked at older Millen quickly. Is he still having fuel issues? Yes, he is. Millen is still having fuel issues. Lee Kelly was a smart one at the Haas group. He is fine on fuel. Brand's fine on fuel. Tony's fine on fuel. Big Maduran, Cameron Armstrong. Yeah. Top 6 are fine on fuel. Then Millen has made a mistake. What about Alex? He's fine. Ross. Ollie's a bit of an issue with fuel. So is Mumford. Luke, no. Lordy, no. And Billy. That is it. There you guys who are in a bit of trouble with fuel right now. Back to the action for second. No, Cam's penalties, he's got 6 seconds. So, right now, obviously, with the gap to leader, he'll drop to, obviously, third. Right now, Cameron Armstrong is going to be the winner. Right now, we're on the penultimate lap of the race, 28 out of 29. We will be on the final lap. If I was Cameron Armstrong, just don't fight. You're not going to lose that much time unless Alfie obviously does park the bus. Then you're going to have to get ahead of him. But I can't believe I'm saying this, a medium soft stint actually looks like it's the way to go. He might have bottled, but he still getting some points away from you, Curse. You know, you bottle all the time. But we'll just leave it at that. You know, when you were teammates with Matthew, you bottled. When you're teammates with Cameron, you're bottled. Even I almost beat you in a season, so I'd be quiet. Although, back to the live action. Lap 28 then. We'll be starting the last lap very soon. And in Sector 2 now. Maybe for fastest lap. I don't know. I don't know why he should have stayed out. Maybe it was a way to save his fuel, because I genuinely don't know. Well, Cameron then still leads. Alfie in second on the final corner then. And Cameron Young then is starting the final lap of this race. This is going to be a second time where he's not going to get the victory because of a penalty. And it's going to hinder him in the championship. He's still going to get a podium out of it and still going to gain some points on Millen, but you know, it's probably not what he wanted. He did say at the start of the round that he wasn't strong with quality pace, couldn't get a lap together, and he got pole somehow. And we did see in his quality runs, I think 2 of his runs he just messed up completely. And he's had some strong race pace there. I will give him credit for that. He's just track limits have just hindered him. Gap leader right now, we'll keep an eye on it, is 2.7. He needs a bit bigger than that, obviously, to take the win. But it looks like Cameron Armstrong is going to take the victory then. Alfie's obviously probably doing his best to try and hold the Red Bull up, but it's not good enough at the moment, as we still have 16 cars on the grid, which is another positive note for this season. Cameron's out of battery now. He's burning as much as he can. Into the quick section of the track. Now into the left-hander then, the final 2 corners he goes. Round the final corner. As Curtis says, Alfie's a terrible number 2. And yeah, maybe he is. But here comes Cameron Young then. He will take the victory on track, but penalties will change it. Cameron second, Alfie third, but Cameron Armstrong, it takes the victory. What a win for the Red Bull, and what a lot of points for the team as well, and what a race for him, doing a medium to soft strategy. Big Boy doing that 4th, Tony then a good P5, with Brandon in 6th then. Could have potentially had a podium. He was on the cards for a podium at one point, but then obviously with incidents with a couple of drivers kind of hindered him. And remember, Cameron Armstrong did have a bit of contact with Brand, so could change it. So Alfie could still win if a penalty gets issued. Brand does get 6th then. Lee finishes 7th. What about Millen? Is Millen's out of fuel, I think? Yeah, Millen's just run out across the line. Stays P8. Alex then, on his debut race for McLaren, so he'll be scoring some McLaren some points, what they need. Will be finishing 9th. Ross, even though he's classified 10th, he only has 15 seconds worth of penalties. Actually, I think Ross has somehow managed to get a point, unless he's got more penalties. I'd have to have a look. But right now, Ross is currently 10th. Mumford then will finish P11. Obviously, the stewards will look at that, see if he did actually get 10th. And Ollie then finishes P11 and 12 there between Mumford and Ollie. Ollie actually moves to 11, so Ollie actually might get that point in the end, as my voice is starting to go. Tony gets his driver of the day. I've got to disagree. I'm going to have to give it to Cameron Armstrong. He showed some good quality pace, and then the race was flying. Nobody could stop him at one point, but Cameron Armstrong then does take the victory, and a well-deserved victory, in fact. He had the pace, and he was challenging some of the big guys today. And the champagne has been sprayed then for the Red Bull team. But to be fair though, Red Bull first, then you got AlphaTauri second and third. Obviously that'll never happen in real life, but what a day for Red Bull. And here is the non-official results. Obviously penalties may change it. And other than that, but Cameron Armstrong then takes his debut win for IRL F1. Alfie then in second, just missed out, but did step up as a teammate, as Cameron said he needed more points to step up, and he did. Cameron then finishes third, still on the podium then, not getting the win. Alfie, Big Boy joining in 4th, Tony 5th, Brandon in 6th, Lee in 7th. Millen then, a horrible day in the office for him in 8th. Alex, decent point for McLaren to score some points for them. Donut Denham somehow gets 10th, but obviously might change if time isn't right, but he is 10th. Oi Favell in 11th, Mumford 12th, Luke Baker in 13th, Lodi 14th, Vizier 15th, Billy Moss in 16th, Ushin, who DNF'd in 17th, with Sandra Sohag, who had too many penalties and just give up, also DNF'd in 18th. But what a race then, and what a debut for some of the drivers, and what a race for Cameron Armstrong. Started 6th and took the win. Doing 23.8s on the softs as well. Some of the guys obviously were doing 24s on the medium, so it just proves you don't have to be the quickest guy in IRL F1 to take a victory, as we've seen today. But then, that is the race then, and I've been your commentator on the on, or as Jared Fosbury. Hope you guys can tune in for the next round, as I'll bring that up now, round number 4, which is, if I can get it up quickly, round number 4 is Miami. So we're going to Miami then for the next round. Another decent track for potential overtakes. Obviously, a lot easier for penalties as well. Obviously, we might see the Williams pairing actually finally turn up for the race instead of missing this one, especially from Curtis, as he said he could make it today. But hopefully they can show up, and hopefully we can have a 20-car grid for Miami. I've been your commentator on Neon, and I'll see you guys to the next one. Goodbye for now.